Let's bring in our Washington correspondent Annalise Nielsen, live now from the State Department. Annalise, the state visit has come to an end. It's wrapped up.
Look, it has. This is one of the last formalities, the state luncheon hosted by Vice-President Kamala Harris and Secretary of State Antony Blinken for Anthony Albanese, his partner Jodie Hayden and the rest of the Australian delegation. It's here. Anthony Albanese got to deliver his last speech after he wasn't allowed to address joint session of Congress because they didn't have a speaker. But it's here in the initial comments put forward by the Vice-President. She said that there was much to learn from Australia about how we've handled gun control.
Gun violence has terrorized and traumatized so many of our communities in this country. And let us be clear, it does not have to be this way, as our friends in Australia have demonstrated.
Pete, earlier in the day, Anthony Albanese did go to Capitol Hill, even though they're not in session with a speaker presiding just yet. He had breakfast with supporters of the Australia Caucus and other key committees that are helping push AUKUS through. So this is where they then had a private closed-door meeting, and then after that he got to see the new speaker, one of his first official engagements now since he was voted in by his own colleagues, and it's there that they made some brief comments before the private meeting to discuss the progress of AUKUS legislation.
I really look forward to working with you. We of course have important legislation required for AUKUS, and we're certainly hoping that the Congress can pass that legislation this year.
Pete, there's been a number of public events between the Biden administration, the president himself, and Australian leaders over the last few days around the relationship, and it's evident that China is front and centre of the concerns, the challenges, and what the opportunities might be, especially as Anthony Albanese is travelling to China next week. It's been pointed in so much of the commentary around the US, saying that they want to support Australia in opening dialogue, but there still need to be firm guardrails around how China engages with the rest of the world. So this is one of the comments that Anthony Albanese made in his speech that was on the more pointed end of commentary around China.
China has been explicit. It does not see itself as a status quo power. It seeks a region and a world that is much more accommodating of its values and interests. This is where it is the responsibility of every nation that has benefited from the stability and prosperity of the international rules-based order through the last 3/4 of a century to work together and protect it, and working together to maintain peace, not just in the Taiwan Strait.
So, Pete, that wraps up the formal state visit, state dinner. We haven't had one in a very long time. Well, sorry, we had the one with Scott Morrison and Donald Trump.
Not too long ago.
We actually jumped ahead in the normal rotation of state dinners. Yeah, sorry. Before that, we hadn't had one in a while. Poor Kevin Rudd never got a state dinner, so I think it would have been a bit of a tough week for Kevin watching all this play out, never getting a chance to do it himself.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually a really good point. Annalise, thank you.